What was the moment in your life that caused you to wake up?
When I was in my late 20s and I was married for the first time. I'm now remarried with a wonderful husband and family. And my ex was really struggling with his own demons. And he didn't come home one night when he said he would. And I was panicking. I had no idea where he was, if he was in trouble. He wasn't responding to phone calls, texts. And I had a panic attack. And I had never had a panic attack before in my life. My heart was racing. And I was terrified that I was never going to get my heart to slow down. And a voice came inside my head and said to me, I want you to imagine, what would your life be if it wasn't this right now? What would it look like? I want you to visualize it. I want you to get in it. And I started to visualize the pieces of my life that could be in place instead of this, instead of sticking out a marriage that was not healthy and was not a good space for me.
Get ready to reclaim your life, discover inspiring stories, practical tools, and the path to true happiness. This is Reclaim Your Life with Irina. Let's begin the journey. Before we start the next conversation, I want to invite you to check out my amazing book, The Gift Inside, a powerful guide for healing your body, mind, and soul. Reclaim your strengths and awaken your true potential. Whether you are navigating heartbreak or simply seeking deeper fulfillment, this book offers the tools to turn your struggles into triumphs. It is time to unlock the gift within you. Available now on Amazon, or you can check it out on my website www.irinashehovtsov.com.
Hello and welcome to Reclaim Your Life with Irina. Today we have a special guest, Kelly Myerson. She is a voice amplifier and strategic communication consultant. She combines 24 years of experience in occupational therapy and a master's in strategic communication and leadership with insights from spirituality. She is a host of Mystic Nerd Squad podcast and an author. She empowers women to communicate authentically, helping them to create a meaningful impact while maintaining harmony in their relationships and well-being. Welcome, Kelly. It is a pleasure to have you.
It's awesome to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you. So please share with us who you are outside of your bio. Who is Kelly?
Oh, who is Kelly? I am a giant love bug. I think that is one of the reasons I'm here, to just offer love, compassion, kindness. You know, when I was a kid, I got labeled a lot as nice, like in the not such a great way. Like being nice was something that was lesser than, I guess stepping on other people. But I've really come to embrace that piece of myself, that I really love people. I'm a true people's person. I love to learn about people. I'm so highly curious to hear people's stories. And I joke sometimes that, like, you can't tell me too much information. I want all the information. I want all the details. I want to know more. I feel like I'm just on this quest to understand others and to really see them as who they are and fully embrace and love them. And then, if I'm lucky enough, get to help them see and love and embrace themselves.
I love that. Thank you. What are you passionate about?
I have a few passions in life. One is helping people embrace their authenticity through speaking and podcasting, but also I have a passion for enjoying life. I think I always thought that the purpose of life was to get everything right, to be perfect, that kind of perfectionistic trap. But I'm realizing more and more that the freedom, the joy, the abundance that we're seeking is already here. And sometimes in that seeking of more and better and bigger and faster and all those things, we miss it. So I think right now, one of my passions is to be in the present and in gratitude and enjoying freedom and saying, yes, I could do 10 more posts and connect with 5 more people, but I could also just decide that I'm free right now to do the things that light me up, to be with my family, to read, to go out in the sunshine, to go for a hike in the woods, to pet my dog. I'm realizing all these choices that we make in our lives are blessings that at one point we wished for and desired to have, and they're actually here now. And we sometimes are so onto that next thing of like, I want this now, and it's not here, and I'm disappointed, and I'm waiting for it to be here, and then I'm going to enjoy it, and then I'm going to be happy. And we're just walking around with miracles everywhere that we've manifested in our lives. And sometimes it just takes us stopping for a minute and looking around and recognizing them for what they are.
It's so right. Sometimes we, in pursuit of something externally, we don't get to appreciate by being present here and appreciating what we already have, and we miss out. We miss out on our life. We don't get to enjoy our life when we are not present in it.
So true.
What makes your heart sing?
Ooh, what makes my heart sing? I love seeing others succeed and knowing I had even a small part in motivating them, in fostering skills. I work with kids with multiple disabilities in my day job. And anytime they accomplish something, I'm their biggest cheerleader. And I'm probably more excited than they are for the accomplishment, because it feels so good to see others succeed and know that your efforts and your kindness and your, passionate pursuit of supporting them has led to achievement. I think even more than my own achievement in life, I like to see others achieving.
Oh, I love it. It's beautiful. I feel this way when I call it, how we give gifts to one another. I feel more kind of when I'm giving the gift as opposed to when I'm getting it. That feeling that you helped somebody or you gave somebody something, and it makes you feel good inside.
Yes, you get to receive that gift of appreciation, and I think it also resonates with something inside of us that tells us we're acting from our heart. We're giving something, whether it's ourselves, whether it's something that we cultivated or curated as a gift for someone, that it's an extension of our love. And to see someone receive it is us receiving back that gratitude and appreciation and feeling in such harmony with who we are.
Yeah. Thank you. What makes you happy?
What makes me happy? There are so many things that make me happy. I'm happy to have choice in life and to wake up and know that my first choice is to get a cup of coffee and sit with my journal and plan out my day and maybe pet my dog while I'm doing that. That makes me happy. Makes me happy to spend time with my family, to enjoy the things that are all around me. It makes me happy to see family and friends enjoying their lives and growing. I think we're sensing a theme here. I'm really into other people's growth as joy for me. Those things make me happy. And I also think having balance creates more happiness in my life. So not just all work, but also having fun and play and playfulness and silliness. And like I said before, getting out into nature when it's not so cold. I'm in the Northeast like you are. So it's very cold right now. I'm not highly motivated to be outside, but you will find me curled up with a good book and a blanket and a cup of tea, enjoying that. And that definitely makes me happy too. I feel like when I get to have those moments of peace and choosing to rest, I feel very rejuvenated, very happy. And it doesn't take much for me to feel like I'm really honoring myself and taking care of myself. And that makes me happy because I wasn't always someone who took great care of herself. And really prioritizing my well-being has fully changed my life.
Yeah, totally. I think growing up, we didn't know the term of taking care of ourselves. We gotta take care of others first, and often we even forget to take care of ourselves. But we cannot give from an empty cup. So those things that we do, charge our own batteries before we can be somebody else for other people, or can even be a better version of ourselves. We gotta do those necessary little habits, micro things that kind of make us feel alive, that we can be better.
Oh
What
my
was the
gosh.
moment?
Yeah, I that lights me up that you said that, because I really think that is such a huge piece of the puzzle. And I know you've been on this journey like I have, and really embracing that well-being piece, and then recognizing how much that launches you into everything else in your life. And it's surprising to me. And I guess it's because, I mean, we were even saying before we were recording, we have people in common that we've met and spent time with and interviewed on podcasts. And that is always just really cool. But it's just surprising to me that there are still people, particularly women, who have not recognized the importance of self-care and are still prioritizing others first. And they're still suppressing themselves to make others happy and succeed, and don't see a different way as possible. They haven't even entertained the possibility that taking care of themselves first will actually make everything they do so much better.
Yeah, so true, so true. What was the moment in your life that caused you to wake up? When you realized that you wanted to change, you couldn't live the way you were living any longer?
I feel like I'm much a trial by fire person. So I've had several of them. But the first time I remember really waking up was when I was in my late 20s, and I was married for the first time. I'm now remarried with a wonderful husband and a family. And my ex was really struggling with his own demons. And he didn't come home one night when he said he would. And I was panicking. I had no idea where he was, if he was in trouble. He wasn't responding to phone calls, texts. And I had a panic attack. And I had never had a panic attack before in my life. My heart was racing, and I was terrified that I was never going to get my heart to slow down. And a voice came inside my head and said to me, I want you to imagine, what would your life be if it wasn't this right now? What would it look like? I want you to visualize it. I want you to get in it. And I started to visualize the pieces of my life that could be in place instead of this, instead of sticking out a marriage that was not healthy and was not a good space for me. And what's really amazing to me is, one, the second I started visualizing, my panic attack stopped. Two, I was able to embrace that what I really needed to do was get divorced. And to just move forward into all the steps that you have to take to do that, which is what I did. And three, the things that I visualized, many of them came to be. And I hadn't even entertained at that point the idea that I could have a different, better life. I really believed that I was stuck where I was, and that I had to see it through and figure it out and solve the problems. And it wasn't a problem to solve. It was something to make a decision that this was no longer what I chose for my life. It wasn't good for either of us. Neither of us was healing or doing well together. And so that was the start. And after I went through all of this, and these transitions are not simple, they're not easy. There's strain in every possible avenue, from finances to physical belongings to paperwork galore. And I kind of started fresh in every sense, and had a health crisis not too long after, just a couple of years later. And I was like, but I got everything together. Everything is in place. I'm like making the good decisions. I'm taking care of myself. And that was when, in my early 30s, where I really started to embrace my health and well-being in a very different way, and started to just deep dive into that avenue. And it's been about 18 years of that journey. So nearly 2 decades of really focusing on my health, my well-being, my nutrition, exercise, diet especially. I have a whole range of food allergies and sensitivities. And for the longest time, I would be like, but maybe it's okay if I have a little bit of this or a little bit of that. And I'm at a point now where I've really recognized that I'm in control and that my choices have consequences. And my choices can also amplify the things I'm able to do. So I went from someone who felt like I didn't get to make choices, that I was on a speeding train and I just had to sit down and be a passenger, to recognizing that I could get off the train at the next stop, pick a different mode of transportation, and I'm the driver. I'm the one in the driver's seat. I get to decide where to go. I get to decide what music is on the radio. I get to decide if I'm going to pull off and I'm going to have a side quest and go do something else for a minute, and then decide if I even want to get back on the road again. And it wasn't until I was 30 that I really understood and embraced that.
Oh, I love that. But even how I call that, Tori is still pretty young, to figure out that you have that choice. And I can relate to that as well. As like, I feel like this life is a river and you're just flowing in that river, wherever that river takes you. And until we realize that we are active participants, we can make choices and decisions. Of course, it is more difficult, because at that point you have to accept responsibility for everything that happened in your life, the kind of people you met, the kind of relationships you were involved in. Not to say something was good or bad, it was your choices that created those experiences that resulted in those maybe heartbreaks, or ended up somewhere negatively. But it is the choices that we made that led us on that path that created that particular result. And the fact that you were able to kind of recognize it in your stories, that's amazing. That's incredible. And probably was very difficult at first, but then once you recognize that you are the author of your life, you get to write that story, and that story doesn't have to be the same forever and ever. Sometimes we don't need to fix things. We need to let those things go so that something great can happen in our life, something great can come. Of course, it is difficult to see when you are in that situation, and because you're working kind of against your mind wants to preserve and protect you and to keep you safe, and anything outside of the comfort zone, outside of something that is so familiar, it's so difficult to make that leap of faith, even make a tiny step in a different direction, until you recognize that you have the power, you hold all the keys, and you hold the choices and decisions that you can make. So I love that you were able to do that for yourself. That's incredible.
Yeah, I totally agree. Sorry to cut you off. I was going to just say, I think, just to emphasize that point you made about responsibility, because, initially going through those experiences, there's a lot of blame that happens, and it's not resourceful. It's helpful in the moment because you can distance yourself from that person, whether it's a divorce, leaving a job, and it's easy to blame. But then the real healing happens when you take responsibility for yourself and your choices. The choice to say, the choice for allowing certain behaviors from other people, not having the boundaries, whatever it is. Once I took responsibility, the healing was whole. I can talk about that experience because there's no longer any vulnerability attached to that because I'm in my full power. I chose to be there. There were certainly circumstances that made it easier for me to make those choices, but those are also the pieces of me that I think are so vital to accept as who I was. And I get to choose something different. So I think that's such an important distinction because as people are listening and they may resonate with our stories and they may feel like, wow, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. What do I do? You take responsibility and you recognize, like you said, you're not floating downstream with no control. You're not on the speeding train. You have all the keys, like you said, Irina. I think that is so important. And especially for women who are feeling stuck, you're not. That's your mind is telling you you're stuck because your mind doesn't want you to change. Your mind would be much happier if you stayed the same because life will be predictable. But it's okay. You can step outside of that and there is possibility beyond.
Yeah. Thank you. Totally. What were the 3 biggest lessons you learned as a result of this wake-up calls that you had?
I think that first one that we've really emphasized is that I was in control, that I had choices. There's always a choice. I think that is probably lesson number 1. I think the second one was that you always have people in your corner and you may not know who they are until everything falls apart. But you'll know then the people that show up, the people that showed up to help me move out of my house, the people that sat with me while I packed everything up, while I, sent emails and made phone calls that were really hard. There are people who will show up for you consistently, and that's your crew. Those are the people that you can trust, that you can say, here's the map. You sit in the passenger seat and let me know when things we need to be detoured because you can trust them. So finding people you can trust, I think, was one of the big lessons for me. And on the other side of that, people who you can't necessarily just not trust, but aren't reliable and aren't really there for you. And it's not that they don't want to be, it's because they're on their own journey and they can't depart from that right now. And that's okay. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing, but it also might mean that those aren't the people you want to put your energy into. And I think the third most important lesson was managing my own energy and well-being is my job and my first priority. And that everything else falls in place so much more easily when that is my priority.
Yeah, so true. I love those lessons that, yes, you are always in control. After you accept responsibility for your life, you are always in control. And you always have people in your corner, people who can cheer you on, who can support you. And finally, managing your own energy, I think, is so important. That's the hardest lesson to learn after you have to undo all of the learning you've done in that area. That you have to be something for other people. You have to take care of this and this and this. And then, if you have time, take care of yourself. But switching that narrative and putting yourself first and then taking care of others, because it is not selfish, it is actually selfless, it is actually good for you. Just like Energizer Bunny wouldn't be Energizer Bunny without the batteries it has. We gotta put our batteries, we gotta charge them up, and it's not a once in a lifetime thing. It's everything, every day. Just like we drink this glass of water, we have to feel that life force energy every single day. We have to do those micro things. And speaking of that, what is one non-negotiable thing you cannot live without? What is one of your daily uh, requirements in your self-care uh, routine?
Oh, yes. Well, anybody who has heard me speak before knows that my top priority is sleep. And I have both been a coach in helping people sleep, helping families with their children get better sleep, and being my own coach for sleep as well, because I struggled so much. I think that's another piece of well-being that tends to fall down when we're not really prioritizing ourselves. And like you said, for a lot of women, the end of the day is when we finally hit ourselves on our list of things to do. And sometimes we sacrifice sleep as a result of that. And that is never going to serve you well. There is so much new information coming out about particularly sleep for women, and that we need quite a bit more. And it might fluctuate depending on hormones, depending on what's going on in our lives. But I have very strict routines for myself with going to bed, with getting enough adequate sleep. And then the other piece of that is tagging on rest at the beginning and end of my day, so that not only am I getting great quality sleep, but the time before I go to sleep and the time after I wake up, I'm not expecting myself to hit the ground running. I'm really giving myself time for rest, reflection, for checking into my purpose. Like, what do I want my day to look like? That's why I said I get up and I sit with my cup of coffee and I plan my day and I journal and I get back into my sense of self and where I'm going on my journey, because it's so easy for people to derail us. If we pick up our phone, it's other people's agendas immediately. Whereas if we get up and we sit in stillness, it's our agenda. It's our purpose that's going to float to the surface. And so that is like my big number one non-negotiable. And I just try to make that focus of sleep deeper and more fulfilling and more meaningful. How can it be more restful sleep? What kind of supplements am I taking? How am I choosing the nutrition during the day to support sleep? Making sure not too much caffeine, activity level coming down in the evenings, and for sure unplugging from technology, because we know that the technology and the lights from technology are both sleep interrupters. They really impact our ability to fall asleep, to stay asleep, and to get to that deep sleep that is really the most restorative for us. So I'm passionate for myself, and then absolutely passionate for other people to really focus on improving the quality of their sleep.
I love that. Sleep is so important, and I do notice with myself when I have long days versus when I don't. I go to bed by 9 o'clock. I can be up at 5, and I'm gonna feel amazing. And on those some nights, if I stay up until 12 or 1 or 2, the next day is difficult, and it's not at 5, it's at 7. But I love, yeah. So we have to put a lot into the sleep, because it's kind of part of our restorative process, and yeah, making sure we get adequate amounts, whatever it is for you, because everybody has their different routines. But yes, so important. Thank you. Now that you have had your wake-up call and you've learned your lessons, what is your mission now?
Ooh, I love that. I think I have a double mission. So I think what's really cool about when you've embraced taking care of yourself and recognize that, like, my number one job is to take care of myself and to manage my energy and my own journey. But then the second passion for me is helping other women do the same thing, to embrace who they are authentically, to use their voice to be seen and heard, but to do all of these big mission life things without burning out. So also getting that great night of sleep, having time for rest, having harmony in relationships, being able to be the leader that we need you to be in the world today and feel great doing it. We get to have both of those things, which so many of us, I think, were sold the lesson that that's not possible for you. You could do this or you could do that. Not true. You can do both. Is it always an easy journey? No, I won't lie to you and say that it's always easy. Sometimes the challenge is having to make the better and healthier choice for yourself in the moment. And sometimes that means I'm not moving that next notch on the peg, but it also means we have a steady gain and a steady climb. We don't all need to impact 1,000 people. Maybe we need to impact one. What if all of your energy and what you do and what you say impacts one person and they impact one person? Don't think that that's not enough. It could be. It could be your spouse. It could be your children. It could be your best friend. It could be your sister. It could be your mom. You could be influencing one person and making their life that much better, and it is going to change the world. I think that is what I'm passionate about, helping women realize the power within them and helping them realize that it is safe for them to speak their mind, to lead others, and change the world.
Oh, I love your mission. So beautiful and empowering. I think a lot of women have forgotten the power that they have within themselves, and it is time to remember that. And I love that is your mission. Thank you for that. Who was your hero growing up? Did you have somebody you looked up to?
I definitely did. I think my mom was my hero. She was able to be a stay-at-home mom for some of the time. And then when my youngest sibling was in school full-time, she went back to school. She was a force to be reckoned with. And not until she passed away did we realize the extent of the things she did, because she didn't really talk about herself. But she came out of college and was an early childhood educator, working in a district in New Jersey, not too far from where I live now. And she went into the mountains. There was a group of people who lived very impoverished and they didn't have access to education. And she cultivated a relationship with them, and convinced them to come to the high school where she was. And she created a program in the high school to teach these children, to foster early learning, literacy, all of those things. And it really was a mission for her whole life, to meet disenfranchised groups where they are and give them opportunity. She was an administrator for Head Start and Even Start when I was in middle school and high school. And I used to go volunteer there, and a lot of the families were coming from different parts of the world. Programs like Head Start and Even Start give opportunities to families that they wouldn't be able to financially have for themselves when they first come to this country. And it provides them the skill set to be able to speak the language, write the language, engage with others, get jobs, work. So I love that she had that passion. And I think we forget sometimes that some of these programs that do cost money also help give people a leg up so that they can function and they can get jobs and support their families and buy homes and go shopping if you're into consumerism. But she really believed in giving people opportunity. And I saw that. And even though my mission is a little bit different than hers was, it's very much focused on families and women and children and giving possibility. She was also a great mom and very invested in our lives. My parents always supported everything we did. They showed up to every event. We had family dinner just about every night, and it wasn't always easy, but they made choices to focus on family. And because of that, my siblings and I are, one, close, and two, very focused on family. So now we get to enjoy our families together.
I love that. That's so beautiful. Thank you. What are some of the qualities of your mom that you want to emulate for yourself?
I think I have some of them. I think the ones that I would love, she had this tenacity. As an administrator, my mom was, I'm 5'8". Okay. My dad is 6'4". My mom was 5'2". She was petite, like always dressed to the nines. Like she had such fashion and style. I always admired that. But she was tenacious and fierce. Like you did not want to cross her or disappoint her. And I love that she had that personality. I don't think I have much of that. I mean, I suppose at 5'8", I can tower over people, but I don't find myself very intimidating. But she had, like, they called her the bulldog at work because, like, they'd be like, here comes Miriam. Like, she is serious. You do not cross her. You do not mess with her. You do not follow through on what you said you would do. And I really think that fierceness came from, like, whoever she was serving, whatever population of children, she believed that they deserved the best, and we were not going to not measure up to that. So yeah, I love that quality in her. And she also had a way of making any space beautiful. She was like had a designer's eye. She could make everything beautiful. So Christmases and birthdays, and like she just always made everything seem so magical and special.
Oh, I love that. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. What was the smallest thing you've done that had the biggest impact in your life so far?
Go to sleep. I go to sleep, put it all away and go to sleep. I think that has made the biggest impact, because when you get enough sleep, and we know what happens when we don't get enough sleep. We talked about it. You feel sluggish, you feel tired, you're less likely to, choose the really good habits. Your frontal lobe is not online, your decision making is not good. If all else fails in life and like things are not working out, I just go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to bed a little bit earlier, go to bed, close my eyes. Even if I don't fall asleep right away, like I know that after a great night of sleep, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to make better decisions. Everything is going to seem more possible. I feel like you get a good night's sleep and you literally hear the angels singing. There's music in the background. There's rainbows and birds singing outside the window. Like everything seems to align when I get a good night of sleep.
So true. But yeah, it is the smallest thing we could possibly, we just can go to sleep, because thinking in the sleep, we can maybe find find answers to our questions, and we can have a fresher perspective the next day. So yay, I love that. What is your superpower if you had to pick one?
I think my superpower is really seeing people for who they are, past all of the masking and, experiences and labels, but just really seeing and embracing who someone is and really cultivating a safe space for them to be who they are and imagine all the possibilities.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. I think it's a great skill to have, to let people be themselves and to see them for themselves instead of fulfilling expectations or being somebody they're not, or seeing them through perspective of your own life, of your own experiences. So I love that superpower. It's amazing. What do you want to create next? Any fun projects you're working on that you like to share?
Yes. Oh, I love that you asked that question. Yes. So, given that my mission is empowering women to embrace their authentic voice, I have created a 10-week course. It's called Vision to Voice, where I create that safe container and space for us to figure out who you are, to embrace that inner self, to figure out what are my strengths, who am I as an individual, authentically, to celebrate the heck out of that, to figure out how do I take that, take care of myself, and move forward with this incredible vision and mission in life and actually do something. So we start with understanding ourselves, our strengths, our human design, and then we end with developing a little bit of a strategic communication plan for what you're going to do going forward, which is super exciting. So the course right now is a beta course, and I'm interviewing people to fill about 5 seats, I think, for the beta. And then those 5 people will have the opportunity to audit the course, to give me feedback. It's going to be at a discount. And then I will revamp the course and then really unleash it on the world after that first beta. And I'm really excited. This is something I intend to do time and time again with groups of women. Because remember what I said, you really just need to influence one person. So if I could do 5 at a time, that's phenomenal, because they're going to go forward. They're going to embrace their missions. They're going to feel so confident in their own skin, and they're going to reach the people that need to hear their message most and feel really good doing it. Feel safe, feel strong, feel capable, and excited, because we all have something special inside. So we're going to really cultivate that special essence of each woman and then let them out on the world to really make an impact. And I feel like we're going to have this secret society of women who are changing the world, and nobody's really going to know it first. And then all of a sudden, it's just going to like, boom, explode on the world. So that's what I'm here for, and I'm really excited about. I don't know what we're doing, but it's going to be amazing.
I love that. That's so beautiful. And yay, you're so right. You can start, you just impact one person, and who knows what ripples that person can create. So yay, I love that program. It sounds exciting. Is there anything I haven't asked that you would like to share?
No, I think this has been such a beautiful conversation, and I really thank you for asking great questions to open up some of these topics that maybe wouldn't necessarily come out. But I'm glad we covered all of these topics, because I know that there is a woman out there listening who needed to hear some part of this conversation as confirmation that the choice that she wants to make next is the right one, whether it's to embrace well-being or to use her voice more, or to, like you said, reclaim her life in a relationship, in a job, in some aspect. And maybe that one person listening is you, and you needed to hear this. And so we're so happy to be able to do that for people, right?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Thank you. It's been a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for sharing your wisdom, your lessons, your wake-up calls. This whole idea for this podcast is to ignite hope, to let people know that no matter where you are, there is always an answer, there is always a solution. And that's what I'm hoping to bring by speaking to people like yourself, how they have come out of their problem, how they found hope. And in your case, you figured out that you're always in control, that you can manage your own energy, and you have people in your corner. So I love that. Um, if people would like to connect with you, learn more about you, where would they go?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Kelly Myerson. And we'll put in the show notes. If you heard me talk about vision to voice and it sounds like something you're interested in, I have a free Amplify Your Voice 30-minute session over Zoom. We can chat, even if it's just for me to hear and get excited for you with what you're ready to do with your voice next.
All right, awesome. I love it. We'll include everything in episode notes. It's been a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, the pleasure is all mine. This was such a wonderful opportunity to chat with you.